of alien stuff, and it's even a doozy to me.
We even hired that guy from National Geographic.
Aliens. But I am very, very excited to bring you guys some new stuff, and we're trying yet again a different format because we just can't stop doing that, apparently.
Podcasts are fun to experiment with, and
they really are. That's really what it is, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're doing.
We're going to be getting into some nitty, some gritty, some disgusting details. This could get us on a government list. This could get black cars following us. All right. Well, without any further ado, let's jump right in.
You got to roll that intro.
Oh, yeah. Without any further ado, let's... Aliens. We've brought them up before, and we will bring them up again. Are they the cause of some of the world's strangest disappearances? Are they real? Spoiler alert, yeah, they are. And most importantly, do you want to believe? We sure as hell do, and what better way than to give you kindly viewers / listeners, I know some of you listen too, a deep discussion on one of the strangest alien occurrences to ever happen in our home state of New Mexico. Because this is Morbid Message Monday, a show brought to you by TechMess about all the ooky, the spooky, the paranormal, the horrible, and the downright strange things that have happened in the world we inhabit. My name is Jake.
And my name is Matt.
And I hope y'all are ready to hear some seriously wild shit today because it is a doozy. Be forewarned, we have no definitive proof that this truly exists, but just as you, we want to believe.
Just to preface this real quick, you are recording, correct?
I am definitely recording.
Good.
I would feel pretty dumb right now if I wasn't, because I loved the way that intro just went.
It worked really well, and I was going to be really upset if you weren't recording it.
To Panic Commander's point, the Pentagon did confirm several UFO sightings.
Yeah, they did. Aliens are real.
Yeah, they did kind of deny that extraterrestrial thing, though. You are right about that. However, all of the sightings of the Navy have now been confirmed to be true. UFO sightings.
There's gray people among us.
There are grays. And they live in a 7-story underground military base in Dulce, New Mexico.
Such a quiet town.
Such a quiet town. A town of 3,000. Good old Dulce, New Mexico. The first mention was in the 30s. But the idea of aliens truly being in the town of Dulce, New Mexico really caught traction in the 1970s. Supposedly, there is a underground base filled with aliens, half human, half alien hybrids, half animal, half human hybrids. Lots and lots of screaming. And
what was that, floor number 6, right?
Yeah, the nightmare floor.
Yeah, the nightmare.
We'll get into all of this into much more detail. But the base rumor for the Dulce, New Mexico base, the base that no one has confirmed yet, right? Okay, no one's confirmed, started in 1982 by Paul Bennewitz, who found a strange radio signal emanating from Dulce. Paul took this. He's a PhD physicist, by the way. He's a real guy. He's a guy. He knows stuff. He took this and literally ran with the idea that, okay, this is coming from the ground of Dulce, New Mexico, and it's a secret underground base. Like he went from 0 to like midnight right away. Just fucking set underground base.
Right. He was talking about how like the signals he was catching were going so high up that it wasn't meant for people here.
It wasn't meant for people here at all. It was shooting into the atmosphere.
That's how he just came to the conclusion that, aliens.
He did, to be fair, he did come up with the idea that it was an alien base.
Right.
It became much more in 1995 when whistleblower Paul Schnieder actually came out and said, like, a lot. He said a lot. But we also can't forget about Thomas Castillo, Was it Castillo? Callisto? Oh fuck! What is
I
his
think it was
name?
Callisto.
It's not Callisto.
Pretty sure it was.
Are
you sure?
Oh man, what the hell was his name? Anyway, he was a whistleblower who worked in the security for the Dulce Air Force, or not Air Force Base. You can't call it an Air Force Base. This is one of the 3 people who survived a serious crazy thing. Anyway, before we get too heavily into that, the Dulce, New Mexico. Let's get a little bit of backstory on Dulce, New Mexico first. So Dulce, New Mexico is a small town, like I said, population of 3,000, still thriving to this day. Many accounts of the paranormal have happened in Dulce, New Mexico. We're not even talking just aliens. Dulce
worse
has
than Roswell too.
Yeah, Dulce has been home to Bigfoot sightings, ghost sightings, paranormal alien sightings. I mean, all sorts of crazy shit. In fact, in what was it, 1973, I believe, there's a gentleman. He was a police officer who came across a cow's mutilated corpse. Yeah. And inside said mutilated corpse was a fetus that he could not discern what it was. It wasn't a human, but he also said this was not a cow.
No, he described it as like a monkey frog
human hybrid fetus animal thing.
Not anything that you should find inside of a cow.
Yes. No, you shouldn't. Why was it there?
Because when I was reading this, I remember seeing that picture somewhere, and I don't remember why I saw that picture, but the picture where he's looking inside the cow, did you see that one?
Yeah, I did see that one.
I remember seeing that somewhere, and I don't remember why.
And that's a real picture. That's not like a fake thing. No, it's just right there. Well, and the other thing, too, is Gabe Valdez, that was his name. He was talking about the cattle mutilations in the area, but he was also saying the evidence that was left, like around Dulce at these supposed sightings and cow mutilations and stuff like that. Predators don't leave gas masks, glow sticks, or radar chaff. They don't leave that stuff, right? So he's wondering, what the fuck? What's going on here?
Lacking military contractors.
Absolutely. And even before Gabe Valdez, because I do need to get into this, Dulce, the construction of the Dulce base started in, I believe, 1947.
The road.
The road. Yeah, so you saw that too. So the road, they built a road leading to seemingly nowhere. And the local Native Americans in the area recall said road. And during its construction, this road was supposedly for a lumber company, and I don't even remember the name of it.
It was like Smith's Lumber or something.
Yeah,
like
it was something ridiculous.
It was a stupid name, like the most non-incognito name possible.
Exactly. Yeah, it was just a weird like lumber company. And they were like, okay, well, there's the lumber company. But then they recall not seeing any lumber trucks.
Why are they hauling steel?
Why are they hauling these big, gigantic machines, the sheet metal, like all this stuff, right? And it's like, they don't have any evidence of like why. You know what I mean? But yeah, they basically said like, all we ever saw of this lumber company was, big machines, sheet metal, giant constructions of like steel going to God knows where.
Well, and the only trucks that were marked had that weird like Smith's Lumber on the side. Like there was no.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't make sense because like where they were seeing this, like there weren't a lot of trees. So
yeah, this is Dulce, New Mexico.
Right. Why is there a lumber company right out in the middle of the desert?
Well, and the best part is after a little while, they just destroyed the road. Yeah. And the people who remembered it were like, oh, yeah, there was a road there. Huh.
Something was there.
Something.
I don't remember what it
Something
was.
happened, but
But, they didn't have they didn't have cameras or anything like that back then to take pictures of stuff, so.
No, they didn't.
We just have to go off the stories.
We just have to go off the stories. And what was said by the locals of the time, right? And there's so much to go into about.
Well,
like
if I
said,
recall, those stories came from the the natives there, right? The Pueblo.
Yes, the Native
Yeah.
Americans from,
Yeah.
which is, what was the name of the land?
I forgot the name of the land.
Oh, we should probably get that in there.
I can pull it up.
Yeah, pull it
Go
up.
ahead.
Pull it up and let me know in a second. Anyway, there's honestly a lot to unpack here. Like I said, this is probably going to be a 2-part episode.
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Because I would like to get into the construction of the base, and I haven't actually gotten there yet. I'm still working on learning that. But what we will get into are some of the crazier aspects of, the things that have happened surrounding Dulce, New Mexico, what's happening inside of said base. Dad, what's going on? Welcome. And the 2 whistleblowers that were attached to said base, and
Right.
one of them, his mysterious death that went along with his whistleblowing that he did. Now, in 1979, well, actually, I don't know if I want to structure it to where we talk about the alien war first, or if we talk about what led up to the alien war being talked about.
So I'm gonna scoot in here real quick. So it was on the Jicarilla. I'm not really sure how to say that.
Okay.
Apache Reservation. Starts with a J.
Okay.
Like
Jicarilla?
Jicarilla. I'm thinking Jicarilla because usually in Native American language J's are silent.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking it's Jicarilla.
Okay. Fair enough. So
But yeah, that's
this whole all of this happens on the Jicarilla land of the Apache Reservation, which is where Dulce, New Mexico sits. Now, Dulce, New Mexico also sits right on the Continental Divide. I don't know if you knew this, but it actually sits right on the Continental Divide, which means there's a lot of magnetic energy. Because a lot of people are wondering why put a base here. I mean, listen, we have Los Alamos National Labs, right? Which also has a secret underground base below it.
plays a part in this.
100%. Apparently there's a tube tunnel that's going from there. But a lot of people ask, like, okay, well, how did they make said base? And listen, I want to be serious when I tell you this. This is a rabbit hole and a half that you will
There's
find
a lot of
yourself going down.
stories. There's a lot of stories. My favorite was the bomb.
So my favorite is the nuclear powered drill.
Oh yeah, that one too. That was interesting.
So people ask, okay, how did they make this base? Well, apparently in Los Alamos, and this has been confirmed, they have a drill that is powered by nuclear energy that can just destroy anything in front of it. I mean, just turn it into a sheet of whatever's in front of it, right? Shiny whatever.
tunnel.
Literally
Shiny
like
tunnel.
literally sci-fi caves below the surface, like
Yeah, it's
crazy
basically
stuff.
a giant ground lightsaber, if you want to think of it.
And they used this nuclear drill to drill all over the United States. There's supposedly 133 underground bases, and not even just bases, but cities in the subterranean below many big places, right?
Look, it's
So
the kind of
that's-
story that makes Elon Musk drool.
Yeah, literally. Like, this is some serious business. And the craziest thing is, let me just get into a little bit of a tangent real quick. This drill was actually designed by Nazi scientists during Operation Paperclip at Los Alamos National Labs. There's a whole other thing to go into there, but this is one of those topics where we could go on to a million.
It'll keep going and going and going.
But this could go into a million topics. Basically, every single thing going around Dulce could have its own episode about it.
Seriously.
All of the Operation Paperclip stuff, all of the secret society stuff, the New World Order side of things, like, it's absolutely out of control.
And guys, while Jake takes care of Dobby, let me remind you that there is a Morbid Message Mondays YouTube channel if you haven't subscribed to it. All episodes are live, including tomorrow's episode, or today's episode tomorrow.
Anyway, sorry about that, guys. So yes, there's a lot going on here, be it from Nazi scientists with nuclear-powered drills to the construction of the base, which we will get into next week for sure. However, we're not going there. We're not going there this week. This week, we're going to talk about the origins of Dulce, New Mexico, secret underground base, alien Bigfoot monstrosities that are just all over the place, apparently.
Yeah.
So, the real start of the whistleblower phenomenon was in 1990, when John Lear came out with 4 independent confirmations, supposedly, that of the base's existence. All right. Now, 5 years later, this guy, Paul Schnieder, comes into the picture. Paul Schnieder, who was a structural engineer geologist who worked 17 years in the black budget government ops. So he had plenty of time in there, right? And he was contracted. Yeah. And he was contracted to work on the base. Mm-hmm. Now, Paul Schnieder, again, be an entire episode on his own. This dude's got some shit to say. Yeah, this is like I said, it's a fucking black budget hole that we're jumping into.
For sure.
Yeah, 100%. I just realized the music's been playing this whole time.
Oh, damn. Does it record that?
It does, yeah. Whatever. It's not that big of a deal. We'll deal with it. Y'all will just have music for the very beginning.
Sorry, folks.
Of the podcast. Anyway, so Paul Schnieder came out, whistleblow like a mother. He goes into it. He just drops the knowledge. He goes on a tour across the United States to tell people about what's going on in this secret 7-story military underground base.
That's ballsy.
That is super ballsy. Well, here's the thing with Paul Schnieder. He first said that he saw the battle between between humans and aliens. A literal human-alien sci-fi battle in this base underground. Okay? This is, I can't even make this shit up. Like, straight up.
This is where Star Wars came from, guys.
This
is
legit.
where the idea came from.
Legit. 1979, there was a battle in the Dulce underground base between the humans and the aliens, okay? Leaving 60 humans who worked in the base dead and countless alien humanoids dead as well. Now, Paul Schnieder himself said that he came face to face with a 7-foot gray. For those of you that aren't familiar with what a gray is, that's kind of like the typical alien picture. Oh my God.
It's the gray alien with the big eyes.
They're like draconian. There's so much.
There's
like an obscene amount to go into about aliens. There's so much to talk about. There's different types of aliens. There's mentions of the reptilians, the New World Order. Like, it's literally overwhelming. So that's why I'm trying to stick on topic. But the tall grays are a species of alien that are more than, basically confirmed, right? They're the ones who are in Roswell. They're the ones at the Skinwalker Ranch. They're the ones all over the paranormal spectrum.
Or the peeking in your windows at night.
Yes, the extraterrestrial spectrum. So he came in contact with a 7-foot gray. He barely made it with his life after a 7-foot gray pulled his plasma blaster. I know, this sounds ridiculous. Pulled his plasma blaster and shot Paul Schnieder's fingers off. Two fingers. He
lost his fingers, yeah.
He lost 2 fingers in particular. Now, he goes into an obscene amount of detail about the experiments that are happening in the Dulce base. And again, this is going to be next week's episode because, again, rabbit hole. It's a lot. It's a lot. So Paul Schnieder comes out, says this to people, says, we need to take our country back. There's these bases all over the country. People start going crazy. They're like, holy shit, this guy's nuts, but there's credence to what he says. And this is all also in accordance to what Thomas Castillo, I cannot remember his damn name.
Hold on, I'll find him.
You find him. But Thomas, blank last name here, who was part of the security team who watched countless things happen on the security monitors of the Dulce Air Force Base. So flash forward to 1996. Paul Schnieder commits suicide.
Thomas Costello.
Costello. There we go. Thomas Costello.
We were both wrong.
We were both wrong, kind of close-ish. Yeah, more or less. So in 1996, Paul Schnieder is found dead. Dead. Okay? He's found dead.
Yeah.
Of a supposed suicide.
Right.
Now, there's a very strong amount to unpack about the supposed suicide. Many people in the YouTube comments, because those are the most trustworthy, are the ones who said it looks like he was forcefully bound and murdered, essentially, executed on the spot, and that this brave man story needs to be told. There's a 7-part YouTube series that I'm probably going to end up watching, and my brain's probably going to go soft in the process. But my God, does that man have something to say? Now, here's a direct quote from our man, Paul Schnieder, in 1995. There's a war under there, and it's been going on since that time, he said. He spoke of 1,477 underground bases around the world, 129 of which were located just in the United States, 133, by the way,
Right.
each costing $17 billion or more. He said that the black budget, hidden from other U.S. government agencies and from the public, garners 25% of the gross national product, which is $500 billion a year, by the way. Military forces from multiple countries have been engaged in such warfare with aliens. And that was his direct quote. He also said that the U.S. brokered a peace deal after the 1979 Dulce, New Mexico alien attack. Massacre, whatever you want to call it. And since then, there's been peace between us and said Greys. Or, I mean, there's, again, like a lot to unpack here. Lots of different aliens.
Because, like, we kind of skipped over, but my favorite theory is the fact that it was a nuclear explosion that was done underground. And we found a race of cave-dwelling aliens.
Yeah.
That we then started battle with. So, like, all these theories are, like, so totally out there, but they're just, it's a rabbit hole. It just keeps going and going and going.
I want to be very real with you guys. There's so much here.
There's quite a bit.
Another police officer in Dulce, New Mexico, Tim Anderson, claimed to have also seen a UFO in the town in the late 1990s. It lit up the whole valley. And I'm going to give him an accent. I don't know why. It lit up the whole valley and just disappeared into the rocks. He told the Santa Fe New Mexican, "I just rubbed my eyes. Did I really see that?" Now, for good measure, Tim Anderson also believes that a Bigfoot resides in or near the town.
Because why not, right?
Because,
why
I
not?
mean, listen, Dulce is known as the Roswell of northern New Mexico.
Yeah.
Now, if this base is
they
truly
got to be
there,
one step above Roswell and have Bigfoot on top of it all.
100%. 100%. Also,
Spider cow monkey baby.
Our guy, Paul Schnieder, had level 3 community security clearance. So he could see all sorts of shit. Now, here's the big problem with Paul Schnieder. Okay. Now, again, he was supposedly commit suicide. Like, I get that. Horrible, whatever. Now, his story is a little fantastical. He did say that his fingers were blasted off by plasma balls shot at him by aliens after he himself killed 2 aliens with a shotgun. That's something he said. A roommate of his from Oregon, where he used to live, later came out and said, hey, he lost his fingers doing work as a lineman in Oregon. Now, I don't want to discount this guy. I want to believe that there's things going on, but I feel like we do have to bring, all of it in. Otherwise, it starts to sound a little sensational, right?
I mean, it's already sounding pretty sensational, but, let's just keep making it worse.
I have no problem. Fuck this. It's aliens. You know what?
It's aliens.
You know what?
We're talking about aliens.
I'll get an X-Files. Anyway. Matt, tell us about the 6th floor.
The sixth floor, otherwise known as the Hall of Hell.
Mm.
Yeah, it's a floor located in the massive underground base where basically all the genetic experiments were taking place. So the sixth floor, also called the Nightmare Hall, it's where employees would walk in there. They would hear screams. They would hear people just in agony and in pain because this is supposedly where they did the experiments where they were merging people with aliens and creating new things out of already existing people and animals.
Yeah. This was the genetic experimentation hall, man.
Yeah, this is where the shit went down that, like, if it ever got out, the world would be just...
This is the world would be turned upside down. I mean, like, literally, this is alien stuff that, like, okay, recently we had a disclosure, like a real honest to God disclosure of the Pentagon saying, hey, yes, there are UFOs. Yes, we don't know what the fuck is going on.
Mm-hmm.
But that's it, right? We got like a taste, like a tease. They were like, maybe. All right. What do you think this is? What are you, a sheep? I'm just kidding.
Open your eyes.
Listen up, sheeple. But what it really comes down to is, listen, this is a 7-story underground base with an underground shuttle to Los Alamos. By the way, between each of these bases, each of the 133 bases in the United States alone, there is a Mach 2 train that will take you from place to place, going speeds you'd never even believe. Okay. And this is all stuff that has not been brought to the surface, has not been given to us, and it's all stuff
and it's
brought to you by Operation Paperclip.
There's so many theories as to how many different entrances there are into the base, but nobody has ever actually found one.
That is true. There's multiple different entrances, one of which is like in a dude's backyard.
Yeah, there's like 8 confirmed, locations of possible entrances into the facility, but yeah.
It's a real crazy. Need 6th floor tours.
No.
So I do have a little
floor where all the aliens live.
Yes. Yeah, that's the no. So
it's like that. It's like Men in Black. You walk in there and they're just all having coffee and hanging out,
just chilling. Everybody's hanging out,
just chilling on the 5th floor, while everyone on the 6th floor has a really bad time.
Yeah, seriously. So I do have a little schematic here. Now, the Dulce base, obviously, we don't have a lot about what it looks like or the type of architecture or whatever it is that they did. We have nuclear drill drilled into the base and made essentially a bunch of tunnels, and then they built up a base inside. 7 stories and 2 miles wide and long. It's huge, gigantic base. I mean, like crazy massive. Base. Huge. Okay. Now, this base is constructed of 7 different floors or stories that I've talked about here. There's a UFO entrance in the very top of said base that opens up to allow UFOs to come in. Because again, we've brokered a peace deal with these aliens and we're essentially working with them now.
We're working with these bastards.
Yeah, we're working with these guys, right? So the first floor is known as the security and communications floor. This is where Thomas Costello was working when he saw unspeakable things. Okay, craziest, things that are just, no.
I mean, he probably had access to the security cameras at that point, so of course you saw horrible shit.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Now, this reminds me of Control, which you didn't play, but again, insane. Yeah. Like it, honestly, crazy. Right. Now, the second floor is made up of the human staff housing, because the people who worked in this base lived on this base. They couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah, you couldn't have these people just going to your local grocery store.
No. And again, this also leads to the idea that there's an entire city under the confines of Dulce, New Mexico. And I mean, it's not too far-fetched to believe, in my humble opinion. Especially if you have people working these bases, they, like you said, they need to go to the store. They need to have their amenities.
Yep.
But they live underground. I mean, this is it. Now, the third floor is the executive and lab floor. So, like the executives, you know, the higher ups that are part of the Dulce, New Mexico base, they're all hanging out on the third floor. This is where the evil people are, right? This is where, like, the, you know, the worst of the worst happen to preside.
Control it all.
Those who control the base. Exactly. Now, on the fourth one, we're getting into the real looky. Mind control experimenting floor. People working with telekinesis. Things opening up the mind to things we can't even fully understand.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's probably just where they tested out, like, you know, LSD on soldiers and shit.
Probably they gave the aliens some crack cocaine, see what happens.
Yeah. They built this weird
some magic
city.
mushrooms.
Yeah, just a bunch of good stuff.
It's just a stoner fest on the fourth floor. Let's be honest.
Yeah, the fourth floor is basically just Burning Man.
Yeah.
Now, on the fifth floor, it's not Burning Man. Fifth floor is where supposed alien housing. Is Dobby still in here? Oh, I do. Sorry. The fifth floor is where supposed alien housing is happening. Okay. There's a
They
whole
all cuddle up in their cots and.
LSD is legitimate research. It absolutely is. I mean, I get you.
But could you imagine giving it to an alien?
Yeah, I mean, fair.
It would be entertaining, or it could be horrible. I don't really know.
Now, the sixth floor, as Matt just talked about, is the hell floor, the house of horrors, the worst of the worst.
The nightmare
And the
floor.
seventh floor. The seventh floor is cryogenic storage. Nobody's been able to say what's in this on this floor. But I think there's some definite weirdness going on if we end up on the third or fourth floor. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man.
The drugs work on them. Yeah, it's true. I mean, it could just cause some like horrible allergic reaction that makes their head explode.
Very true. Yeah. I mean, listen, man, we're talking
I've
aliens.
seen Mars Attacks. They can't listen to music.
Nope, they definitely can't. And what was that one? Signs where like air killed them or something?
Oh, water.
Water.
Yeah,
It was water. Yeah, they just hit them with the super soakers.
That movie is the reason I hate. Like that is my irrational fear is tall ass aliens. That movie's movie's fault.
Is Signs?
It's Signs.
Interesting. I've never been like overly afraid of aliens, I don't think.
I'm not either, but there's that concept of like waking up and looking out your window and seeing some tall fuck staring at you from across the way.
I mean, fair. I get that. I definitely understand. But I don't know. I mean, I've never been like a oh man, aliens, they're gonna come and kill us all, because I don't think that they would.
Think about it, but when I see a picture of one, I'm like, ha.
It's fair. That's fair. Well, and when you hear like actual evidence.
Alien Brewing Company in New Mexico, pretty good.
Very good. Very good. We've been eating alien coffee. That's exactly it. That's where all the mushrooms came from, is aliens. Listen, there's a lot we could get into on just specifically aliens. I mean, whew, my God.
This will be a whole playlist on YouTube of just alien stories.
It will be. Yeah, we're going to have so many freaking alien stories. It's absolute freaking madness.
We've only scratched the surface with this.
We've only scratched the surface of fucking Dulce. Matt.
Yeah.
Speaking of scratching the surface, what else you got?
What else I got on Dulce, New Mexico?
That means you got nothing. I know what you're doing.
Yeah, I don't have too much. Without going into what we want to say for next week, I don't have too much.
Yeah, next week we're going to go into the construction, the ins and outs, the order of that. We might even get into the New World Order aspect of this shit. I mean, honestly, there's so much.
There's a lot, and like you're talking about people who have seen things from like all over the place, to the weird exploded cows, to Bigfoot, to seeing an alien walk past the front door of a grocery store, like just all sorts of crazy shit that they've seen. And a lot of the stories do tend to match up, and apparently
they do.
In Dulce, if you ask anybody, they all have some sort of weird paranormal story because they've all experienced something.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
I'm gonna say right now, if TechMess disappears, the government took us.
That's why we're doing this live.
but last
we start
podcast
seeing
on the
black
left is
vans
still-
showing up.
Yeah, they still exist, and they haven't been.
They
taken
haven't
away.
been. They've talked about a lot more too. There's order in the world / cosmos. Well, oh god, New World Order. We're going to be talking about reptilians, draconians. We're going to be talking about the different types of aliens. We're going to be
there's
talking
all
about a
sorts
real
more.
mess.
Oh my god, like the Greys are just the surface of this place.
The Greys are like the most well-known type of alien, but there's
Right.
so
You got
many.
the
Yes,
lizards,
exactly.
you got
Black helicopters. I mean, it's going to get out of control. And again, this is all going to be next week on Morbid Message Monday. And I think that
That's it.
is where we will call it for the night, folks.
That's been your introduction to Dulce, New Mexico,
That's your
which I
introduction.
had no idea existed until Jake told me about it. And then I read a bunch of articles today, and
It's a
I
mess.
am severely intrigued now.
Severely, to a point of where
Severely.
it hurts. I mean,
To
it's
the
like
point of where it hurts to even think about.
exactly. It's
Yeah.
painful. I mean, it's going to be.
Painful thing.
Think about that black budget, dude.
Chuck wants us
500
apparently.
Assuming you're still here. They haven't just replaced us with fucking humanoid aliens. All of a sudden, we're like, just kidding. None of this is real. We are not Matt or Jake.
It's
really intriguing.
All right.
Yeah, hell
I'm
yeah.
going to start a thing on the Discord server, phrase of the week.
Yes, you should do that. And
Yes.
you, kindly viewer, should join that. /listener. Absolutely. Come on
We
down.
haven't fleshed
Tons
out
of fun.
the Morbid Message Mondays part of it yet, but it'll be there.
No, I just threw it in there. Oh, here we go. I think that's really what we've got for this week. Again,
Yeah.
we're going to get
Without
into
getting
a lot
next
more
week's.
nitty, nasty, gritty grossness on next week's
Next
week's episode. But this week we wanted to talk about the whistleblower, mainly Paul Schnieder,
I'm glad.
who, again, he was suicided. He did not commit suicide. This man had a family. And now listen, I'm going to go into this for just a moment. There's this thought, okay, that Paul Schnieder and people of the sort, Bob Lazar and stuff like that, only come out with these quote unquote alien stories because they want to get rich off of them. Listen to me. Listen to me. They get laughed out of the room every fucking time. These guys are not in it for the glory. Okay, they're not talking about aliens and exposing the alien race that literally lives below our feet, literally below our feet, because they think that they're going to be garnering attention. The only attention they're getting is negative attention. And listen, this dude's dead. I mean, he died the next year after whistleblowing. That's too much of a coincidence, right?
That's that's quite the coincidence to just magically suicide yourself after I mean, I don't know.
Okay.
Maybe he did.
Maybe he was ridiculed, though. You know, maybe that really
Maybe it
did
was the
lead him to
ridicule
that.
that finally got him to it, but
I don't know.
it is very sketchy.
It's very sketchy. It's too sketchy. Especially when there's other accounts of this, when there's accounts of true alien happenings in Dulce, New Mexico. Oh, man. Next week's episode is going to be like an hour and a half long.
It's gonna be popping.
Oh, what a mess. What a tech mess. Anyway,
And,
folks, that is
to,
where we will call it.
yeah.
Don't forget to, if you haven't yet, go follow us on Spotify. If you're watching live, follow us on Spotify just because it helps increase the listenership. It gets to more people when we do that. So if you could do that, same with YouTube. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Matt, can you put the link in?
Oh, it's in there
for
somewhere,
people?
but I'll put it in there again.
Yeah, it's around there. There it is. That's the Morbid Message Monday YouTube. Again, we will not be able to get a link until we get to 100 subscribers. So whenever that happens, that happens.
God, I'm so glad we finally reached that on the other one.
I know, my God. Now we're like 152.
That was an uphill battle.
It was an uphill battle. An uphill battle through the snow and the wind and the rain and the tornadoes and everything through Dulce, New Mexico. Anyway, that's where we're going to leave it, kind of viewer / listener. I hope you have a wonderful day or night or whatever it happens to be you're having, and stay ooky, stay spooky, stay downright strange. And listen to Dobby whine. We'll see you next time.